Hello again, we are back. So that daily went pretty well. Sorry about that. And our the last run, which I forgot, I think, yeah, it was an Isaac run. Went pretty smoothly, I guess. Except for the water on the keyboard, but you know. Alright, a random within a random. What we got here? Okay. 03CGAE71. Let me get some water here. Clear my throat. Okay, we got what we got here? I wonder. Holy crap. Okay. So we got a terrible tear rate, decent damage. That's what's keeping us like 15 is well, 15 is kind of bad actually, but we got 15 tears rate with the cancer item. That would increase our thing. I mean, I'm gonna do it because of that. Yeah, actually, because that would give us some survivability and some random items. What we got here? Judgment. Judgment, huh? Well, goodbye. I don't think we need that. We should have got that tinted rock, but okay. You know what? Never mind. This works. Oh, look at that. Okay, so that solves somewhat of our tier issue. Though we're dealing with anti-gravity, so... Oh, we already went to there. That's right. Okay. So I think we should go to our shop first and get some more health. All we need is some magnetic tears to like spice this up a little bit here. What we got going on? Okay. At first I was looking at the tier rates like, wow, look at that. I had to take anti-gravity because that's going to help with their rate significantly, of course. Just crack some rocks here to see if we can find a trapdoor or a black market or something. I don't know. Whatever is advantageous. Stompy's going to help though, pretty significantly. So I noticed Repentance came out with a new blog thing. The Repentance team came out with a new blog thing for their upcoming DLC. I haven't had a chance to read it, but they were talking about co-op. Or something from what I heard. I'm gonna assume it's gonna be more in the lines of local co-op. Because of how the game's kind of structured right now, it wasn't built for like a lot of network stuff. What we got here? 2 of hearts, huh? More like 2 of farts. Okay. Spiders everywhere. It's still a nice Saturday morning. Nice and warm and sunny, as usual. I'm not as usual, but I'm in the sense of like, this is my second video of the day, so not much has really changed. topic wise, trying to figure something here. Oh, I know, like cloud storage, I guess. We'll just keep talking about technology. I was setting up this iCloud a few weeks ago for my sister to like have it downloaded to my computer because she was running out of room on her phone and stuff, and she was running into an issue too where it was like she didn't have a device and stuff, and she had all these kid photos of my niece and her kid, of course. And it's like, hey, can you do this? I was like, yeah, I got some room. Now it's like I gotta clear some stuff out and whatever. Put it on some discs, probably Blu-ray discs, to kind of like save some space. And with iCloud initially, I mean, I was downloading a bunch of stuff, I guess, and it's also iCloud. It was super slow to like download stuff from her phone to sync and stuff. So it feels like as though like, oh, that's pretty good. So it feels like as though I am like a subscriber to her news feed through my computer without being on like a web browser. So I can see like, it's not real time, but it's close to real time if I just sit in front of the computer and just watch it come in. Like stuff she's done recently with everything and everyone and whatever. Yeah, she's been, I guess she's just been doing stuff, around town, mostly. Not a whole lot of traveling, of course. Ansys, or Ansys, or whatever it's called. That's pretty good. So we got some good damage here. Just these spiders are kind of annoying a bit. She was telling me about these ladybugs that kept cropping up into her house every like spring and fall. They're not like true ladybugs, but they're the ones that, you know, eat the good ladybugs. And she's wondering why are they coming in here? Well, it's because like it's a critical time of the seasons. Like they're not gonna come in here in the middle of the winter. They'd be dead if they did that. Let's see what we got here. But yeah, like, I kind of tell her, it's like, you would have to seal up any spots they're coming from, find out where they're sneaking in. My hunch, it's like the window gaps, like if the windows are open or if like they're coming through the creases. Get those kind of ironed out. Things of that nature. Not leave anything like exposed in there, like some kind of food or something weird in there. You know, stuff like that. Like for me, I don't have any of those problems. I had a bit of an ant issue one time, but I got that pretty much squashed with like did a little bit more extra cleaning and putting some ant traps out too. That took care of the problem. We are up to the keys now. I don't have too many problems with ants. It's just that they're sort of in the way and get into your food, and then they can be a big hassle over time. So it's best to just get rid of the problem before they decide to start a giant colony in your place. Oh yeah, I forgot it does that. I don't have a problem with roly-polies either. Like I definitely don't have a problem with roly-polies. I know they have another name for them, but like I just call them roly-polies. They roll. Rock and roll. Okay, what we got in here? Okay. This could be good or it could be bad. We'll see here. Spiders. Pill bombs. Oh, we got a couple of hearts. That's nice. Oh, this room. This is kind of a nightmare room here. Oh, they don't stop firing. Okay. We just got the, yeah. Mega Fatty, huh? Hello, Mega Fatty. Oh yeah, that's right. He got feared. Oh, they're sucked the tears too. That's a helpful synergy with that. I didn't have to deal with roaches so much, which is nice. Like, I keep the obvious stuff cleaned up, and I'm not leaving just trash. Just trash over the place. So what else I have to deal with? I mean, I deal with an occasional moth, like. I know they can get bad when it comes to like chewing up your clothes and everything, but moths are just moths, you know. I think they only become an issue if they just like accumulated in your place, especially your attics. You start gnawing on everything. See what else did I have to deal with. Well, when I was a kid, yeah, you know, there was this this issue with in grade school with kids having a breakout of like lice and stuff, and I don't think we had it. I can't remember. I don't think I've had it. But like as a precautionary thing for us, like our mother had to like put mayonnaise and stuff in our hair and all this weird stuff. And I think it was a precaution because I think back then the schools were like, you know, tell the parents and the kids that there's been an outbreak of lice in the school or something. Oh, we also used to have back then too, like in the schools later on, lice checks. I remember that. It would check all the kids' hair. I don't know how often it was, I remember they used to do that. They checked their hair to make sure they're not carrying lice, trying to find patient zero, so to speak, maybe. Trying to find that little disease spreader. The little dirty kid. Well, kids are dirty in general. They don't wash their hands and they're just sticking their hands in mud and paint and all this stuff. And their noses. Now it's like, now people are even more like cautious with everything that's going on now. Doesn't hurt to be cautious, but it's like some people, they may take it to the extreme. Like I've seen episodes of My Strange Addiction, which is on TLC. I don't think they're making any more episodes. I mean, I haven't watched television in a while, so. But when I used to watch television, that would be on, and I'd watch just to see like, okay, well, why are these people like doing this kind of stuff? And they got a lot of stuff that's just linked to depression, traumatic events, and stuff. So it's not entirely their fault per se to like develop the habit. It's kind of an interesting like psychology thing behind it, because you know, for some people who don't understand like how these people develop this kind of a weird, you know, niche in life, they just kind of think like, oh, he started it and therefore like he wants to get something out of it, and that's it. Well, yeah, I mean that's partly it, but then it's also like there's stuff behind it that led up to that point. So like, for example, well, this one, I don't know, maybe this one might have been traumatic, but maybe they didn't go more in detail for some reason. I was going to say, so there was an episode of My Strange Addiction with a lady, and she became famous on the internet because of it, eating nothing but cheesy potatoes. And she grew up the habit since she was a kid to eat cheesy potatoes. And I'm trying to remember like all the details with it. So like, or some of the details, at least the important ones I can remember. But like, if I recall, she didn't really want to eat anything else ever since she tried cheesy potatoes when she was a kid. So there's that. But then the problem I see is the parents allowed her and kept allowing her to eat nothing but the stuff. And then over time, she was becoming more and more picky. And that was kind of a dilemma for her back then to kind of like deal with. We might die here. Oh no, we're not. I didn't think that comes out of a dark room chest, but hallelujah. So I mean, and it's also tricky for parents too, especially if I don't think she had a father figure around, if I recall. So that could be part of it. Well, not in the sense of like saying like the man in the house has to be like there to like control things. I meant to say it's like when you do have a father figure, you got one less parental like affection and stuff. Put some water here. And so then they had in the episode where she would try to eat like vegetables and stuff, and she was gagging by the smell of broccoli. Which for me, like, in my sense, broccoli doesn't have much of a smell or a taste per se. But she was shaking, just scared and everything. And I don't understand the psychology of being scared about broccoli at all or anything like that. Like shaking like that. It's like some kind of an anxiety issue, of course, but I don't know what kind of stirs it. And then they kind of went through too, is like showing her how many like tons of the cheesy potatoes she's been eating, and how that's kind of like causing a health concern for her. And then she started like changing her diet in the end, slowly but surely, which is a good start. Usually you don't hear those kind of, decent stories and stuff. Not decent stories, but like stories to where like people are slowly adapting away from like that kind of a toxic norm for them. Oftentimes they kind of relapse and get back to their old habits. Because something's not like properly addressed from back then. I'll be sure to use that in the next floor. I don't see any batteries. Alright. So anyways, they had other episodes too. They had someone who was doing a lot of paint huffing. They had another one with trying to bleach their skin so they'll be a different race. Things like that, and it's just like it's kind of just all over the place. I mean, sometimes like people, so like, I mean, how to put it in words. So they had some episodes to where kids would just develop the habit, but they wasn't like properly educated and taught that doing this can be very harmful to them. So like there was one case where there was a woman who developed a habit since she was a kid to eat pieces of now I'm blanking here, like pieces of furniture, like sofas and stuff like that, and eat the padding off of them. And it was more lines of texture, not so much with flavor, and things like that. And they developed this kind of a craving and stuff of this texture, this stuffing. There's another one too that would used to eat like hair or hair follicles or something. And they were explaining like, this is going to do something to your stomach and stuff. You need to stop. She was having a hard time stopping too. Like, it's all over the place. You see all this sorts of stuff going on. I think with each of the cases too, like after they break out of this kind of habit, or to some degree they're trying to work on it but they can't get out of it completely, I think they also help them find therapy work. I don't know all the stuff behind TLC and the stuff with, doing therapy work. Now that room, and this is kind of funny. You can't even get over the. Oh no, we do have a card for that. Old blank room items. We got to take this stuff though. So we got that. So that's nice. We'll take one of these. We'll take this. I mean, we could have popped. Well, you know what? We could have popped the 2 of diamonds too. Well, it's fine. Like in Hoarders, which I think is still part of this one network. Why am I blanking on networks? It's part of. I gotta think. I think. See, I think it's part of TLC now, but then it was from another network. Maybe it was been with TLC, something like that. Anyways, so Hoarders obviously deals with hoarding, hoarders, extreme hoarders, and they go a little bit more in depth when it comes to like their addictions. Like, yeah, their addictions. It's a longer program, I think, and it's they go more in depth into it, and then they kind of like figure out like stuff behind that addiction. So they kind of at least work a little bit more with the person to try to address those situations a little bit, and at the same time they try to get this mess cleaned up as quick as they can with the time limit that they have, because of like mostly city stuff or state. I mean, it's kind of a dilemma, really. I mean, most of the time, most of the episodes, they have to deal with like families and whatnot, and how they they have to like push their loved ones to like let go, a lot of that stuff. And often what happens in some of these episodes is like these families get frustrated and extremely angry at these individuals because like they're not doing what they want them to do, which is throw away a lot of the junk stuff that's been infected with animal feces or whatever, or it's just useless. And yeah, that's kind of like their dilemma they have to deal with. But they don't understand like
2 of diamonds.
Entirely like what's the thought process behind this person's, thinking. Because they could be so distraught, like they just don't care to an extent. I mean, they probably care, but they got so much of an addiction, like they just can't like break out of it, especially with like especially like stuff that's traumatic to them that happened, or stuff they just can't move on from. And so like they use like funds that they raise or something like that, I think, from selling some of the stuff that's still salvageable, these episodes, to go to the aftercare for like therapy stuff. But I imagine it's probably doesn't do much unless they've got the proper insurance to like handle it. But in a proper place to find such insurance. not a proper place to find insurance, but a proper place to find actual decent, therapy instead of some of the stuff you with drugs all the time, and not address the problem directly. Which seems like it's often the case these days. Is that kind of stuff is just kind of, I think it's a quick fix, but it's not. In fact, it makes the problem worse. Now, I'm not advocating like this kind of medicines like they'll do much for people. I think it does help to an extent, especially with those who just can't like function without the stuff. But what I'm saying is like I feel like there is a sense we might die here. Oh man, that was close. We gotta be careful. You know what? We're gonna have to get some hearts here if we can. Not that kind of heart. Oh, I don't know. We got here. Starter deck. Okay. 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 Never mind. We're golden. Okay. So, anyways, like I was saying, these families, they just have to go through a lot with dealing with this kind of strain. And yeah, they may appear like hostile and stuff like that to the people. I mean, it's probably like not only how they were grown up and their nature of things, but it's also like part of that addiction with collecting. Yeah, I've seen episodes on there too where it's like family members were kind of trying to be explained to them like some of the issues that are going through their heads, and like we don't understand fully about what's going through with them compared to like our understanding, trying to compare, trying to relate, so to speak. And some of them were just, start to understand, and sympathize and stuff. But then you got others who are not really, I don't know how to explain it. More in the sense of like not truly intelligent enough to like really comprehend something like that. All around, it's just been, and I don't know if like TLC. Oh, that's what it was. It was TLC. I think about it, because like Lifetime, they have their own version of version of Hoarders. I call that's the thing. It's like I prefer the more extreme form of hoarding. So like I mean, not as a preference to like do something like that by any means, but like in the sense of like watching and how they deal with the mess. Because the TLC version is much more like worse when it comes to like the quality of everything that's there and that those home environments, as opposed to like Lifetimes, which is just like something not as bad most of the time. Don't get me wrong, they're both bad in their ways, but it's like it poses a challenge, like regardless, you just gotta clean, you gotta constantly throw stuff away and careful not to keep it. keep like useless things, that is. And it gets tricky too, because it's like, well, what's considered useless, you know? What you consider useless and what I consider useless is two different things. And that's true. Especially if something's got a sentimental value of someone that left you. Like, you just don't know what to do with it. Other than keep it for sentimental reasons. Now, why is there a spike there? I really like to know why there's just a little spike there. I must have missed it in the last time I went through there, but this kind of complicates things a little bit. There we go. Then they had another show. I think it was more on the lines of they were doing. Let's see, what were they doing? I have to remember. They were doing some sort of a therapy technique. Oh, that's what it is. It's like exposure therapy for different phobias and stuff. For this other show, I watched a little bit of that. I mean, it was okay. I think they go more into like that kind of a mental illness thing than the other shows. Which to me, I feel like, I don't know, I'm not so too much interested and heavily focused with that. I like kind of a balance with those kind of shows to kind of see like, you know, not only with like what the mentality was to an extent of why they're like this, but it's also like, okay, so what does this place look like and stuff? Let's just say, or like, what kind of addiction are they having to deal with to alleviate some of this, you know, traumatic experiences in life? Weird preference, I know, I guess. I don't know. I mean, you got such variety of television anymore, just shows, and then you got the streaming platforms and everything now. What I used to watch a lot was Forensic Files. I think I've watched more episodes of that than I did with Hoarders and others. Wow, that hurt. I don't know why I just stopped there and then just ran into it anyways. Okay. Need to take it easy here. Oh, it's Red Mom, that's right. But yeah, Forensic Files, like, it had some really cool stuff. Like, a lot of stuff you didn't think, like, these people do. Or, like, collect, or keep, or monitor. It's crazy. They had one episode of a killer who police and stuff and detectives were trying to track down. They didn't have many leads, but then they found like a fiber. It was one singular fiber or something like that. Does some clothing. see. Let's just pop this. And this clothing, I mean, not only they looked at the fiber to see, you know, confirm it's a fiber from clothing, they also did like other stuff too, which was like they're sent it to different labs and it had a unique color to it. And what was crazy about it was it came from J.C. Penney's, and the reason why they figured and how they figured that out was like J.C. Penney's. And I guess this is also true with like other like department stores that sells clothes. They have a trademark for colors, particularly like the fibers mostly, but like I think it's been expanded more to where there's trademarks for those for anything else. And so they had this trademark of using these specific dyes to make this unique pattern of colors and whatnot. Pantone of colors. And what was also interesting was not only they had a record of like this color that they created and what kind of pigment was used and all sorts of stuff, but they also had as well an inventory of items that they've made into clothing and whatever, and that the clothing that they were looking at matched to what they had on record. And not only that, they found out it was also discontinued. So that somehow narrowed a lot of stuff down when it came to like you know, finding out who was the killer to this. And somehow they figured out who it was through that. I forgot how. So they had that going on. And then they had some rare episodes in there too, where it's like they're not necessarily finding the killer. They found like what caused the killing, like in inanimate objects. Well, yeah, kinda. I don't know. Yeah, inanimate objects. So like they had one episode where it was like there was this convention somewhere, and all these folks kept dropping like flies, dying left and right for some reason. I'm like, well, what's going on here? Because they feel like there's like biological terrorism, or you know, someone is just poisoning someone. No, none of that. So they found out that they have this oh, that's not good. Hopefully we can get back in there. They had this what is this? So they had well, we can't go in there. Well, we got plenty of health. I think we're fine. They have this industrial AC unit that's on top of this building. And so on top of this building, this thing would just like, you know, accumulate like excess like junk outside of the unit. But because it wasn't properly cleaned and nobody knew too much about it and whatever, these droplets would actually fall down in the front of the building and the sidewalk because of the air currents and stuff just pushing it. And that's what was causing this particular like outbreak of disease, was these droplets just killing off these old people left and right going to these conventions. And they had to fix that. I think they had a lawsuit and stuff, which doesn't come as a surprise. And that was that with what happened with that thing. Now, like, there's more regulation, of course, with like dealing with that kind of nonsense again. Then they had another one, another thing I seen. I think it was back in like the 70s or 80s. It was like a very popular thing that was going on at the time, which was like apple juice. You know, especially for kids. I guess these farmers and stuff, and these orchards, what they used to do was like, in order to make more of a profit, they decided to get any kind of apples, even ones that fallen on the ground, to, you know, use for this process of fermentation and make into apple juice for kids. But what was happening in some of these places that were doing this kind of work was it was dumping into like cow manure and stuff, and so it was carrying this E. coli or something like that, or a deli version or something similar, where it was spreading into this system, this batch of liquid, a batch of apple juice they were making, and shipping it across the country, and kids were just getting sick and left and right, as well as adults, even killing some of them or hospitalizing some of them. And at the time, I think that was like the first time they've ever discovered a new disease, which was E. coli. Or something like that. Or maybe they discovered it years before, but then it was like, it's a new strain. I don't know. It was something new to them, regardless. They're trying to combat. Because back then there wasn't much like advances with microbiology and stuff, with you know, finding a culprit of diseases. Now we got like much more of an array of tools and the internet. Not saying you should look on WebMD to see if you got a broken toe, or that same like broken toe is actually cancer. Don't fall for that. You're not your own doctor. You don't have all the blood tests and experience stuff. Just don't do it. Don't even. Oh wow! Hello there.
Two of diamonds.
We might come back for you. So this is going to be an interesting run. Like, did we just re-roll? I think we would. I think we will. We've got plenty of health. With the amount of devil deals we had, we might at least be able to re-roll into a guppy item. More guppy items. So this is nice too. Like, what we got here? Chaos card? Chaos card. Alright. I mean, we're doing pretty well. So I think we'll leave these two cards behind in case something well, yeah, I might trinket. Just in case something gets a little funky here. We'll go over here, take this. Reroll this. What we got here? I mean... Oh, we got Dark Judas. I guess that's something, so we can like play around over here with our health, because we're not too concerned. Let's try this. But do I really want to like risk it for the biscuit here? I say we risk it for the biscuit. I mean, that's a good backup. can't really fly. We might go over here and get some health. They also had an episode too about like someone who was supposedly guilty of something, and then later in the episode they found out, oh, he's not guilty, he's innocent after like decades in prison and stuff. And it is unfortunate. So they had that kind of an episode, so that was kind of a rare thing too. And then they had another one too that wasn't like a person related to killing, somebody. Well, this is an interesting room too. Get away from me. You foul demon. I think with this, we might be able to just like, yeah, we're going a little hard with our health here, of course, but like, get Dark Judas first. Because I think if we get Dark Judas, I think that permanently, and as I see we got some extra health here, I think that should give us a, I think that'll let us keep our stats. Because they look pretty good. I mean, don't get me wrong. Okay. Yeah, and then we'll try this. Okay, now I think at this point we are good. I think we're good at not re-rolling anymore. So we've pretty much won this run. So another episode I was just kind of trailing off there. Another episode was, there was this fog issue going on in this town, this highway. And there was just like a bunch of car accidents, all sorts of things going on. And people just dying left and right because of the fog just mysteriously coming in. And nobody could like figure out where the heck this fog's coming from. It's gone on for decades, I think. So it turns out there was this factory that was doing some kind of like work nearby that was causing all this fog and stuff in the first place. Causing all these like adverse conditions and stuff. I can't remember what happened with them. I don't know if they got like a bunch of fines or they moved. No, I think they had a lawsuit, class action. And then maybe they went out of business. I can't remember the details, but they, I assume with that program and stuff and television show and news, I assume like that probably tanked their business and their reputation to an extent. But they were using water, and they have to use water in the water source in order to like do something with whatever product they were making or service. And complicates things if it's next to a highly active highway where you're causing fog. So we are Dark Judas still. We're Spun too. We're Fun Guy too. We're just like all these different kinds of things. I mean, we'll just take this with us just because we can. I mean, in case we get a Delirium fight, which would be a rare treat here. Okay. Let's see here. But like, other than that, like the other episodes are just mostly like, yeah, killers, of course, and stuff. They might have been they probably have more episodes like that, to where it's not as much for the killers. More in the sense of like, could have been the killers, but it's actually like something else. I guess technically the factory thing could be counted as a killer episode, because factory workers, but also it's not at the same time it's not premeditated murder. So I think that's the theme of the theme of the show is premeditated murderers, as opposed to someone who did it by accident. Like, I don't think they have a show out there where it's just like nothing but like accidental murders. Oh, he accidentally pushed him down the stairs. Da da da. Let's talk about it, even though he's proven innocent. No, they don't have anything like that. They want people who have been truly convicted. It's mostly what they want. Of course, you got some exceptions in history to where it's like people you think they're supposed to be truly convicted or not convicted for just various reasons. We'll just roll with this. At this point, we win. Heck, if we get like a dad's key or something, we might be able to like swing a Mega Satan fight. I don't know, I don't really like watch television anymore, like I said. It's just like, I mean, while that stuff can be entertaining at times, it's just like, sometimes that stuff is over dramatized. You know, despite talking about it for like most of this video. Oh, could join too, huh? Well, I mean, I don't mind that. What we got in here? And locket items, like one of the most useless trinkets in this game, really. Yeah, it heals you when every time you open a lock, but I only see very rare occasions to where that's useful. Not so useful for the boss, though. or with this build right now. You gone. And we did not get it. Okay, that's fine. That was a powerful run right at the end, so yeah. So thanks for watching my video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.